Amara Roy prided herself on her meticulous nature. Every detail of her life, from the color-coded tabs in her calendar to the precise measurements of her morning coffee, was carefully calibrated for maximum efficiency. This discipline had helped her become the brilliant programmer she was today, the mastermind behind HeartSync, a revolutionary dating app that claimed to eliminate the messagines of love by using data to find perfect matches. HeartSync wasn't just her project. It was her legacy. Years of trial and error, countless sleepless nights, and an unwavering belief in the power of algorithms had culminated in what she believed to be the pinnacle of matchmaking science. For Amara, the idea of love as a chaotic, unpredictable force was laughable. Her app was the antidote to heartbreak and wasted time, and she was determined to prove it to the world. Despite her confidence in HeartSync's potential, the investors who had funded its development remained skeptical. They wanted more than just charts and test cases. They wanted proof, real, tangible evidence that her algorithm worked. Reluctantly, Amara agreed to a public beta test, opening the app to hundreds of users while also volunteering herself as a participant. It wasn't that she doubted her algorithm, far from it, but the idea of using herself as a guinea pig in matters of the heart made her uncomfortable. Love, after all, had never been kind to her. Her past relationships had been exercises in frustration, filled with misunderstandings and unmet expectations. She had turned to coding because it made sense, unlike the emotional whirlwind she had come to associate with romance. The first day of the beta test arrived with a flurry of activity. Amara watched anxiously as users signed up, filled out detailed questionnaire, and awaited their matches. As expected, HeartSync's algorithm churned through the data with remarkable speed, delivering matches that boasted compatibility scores of 90% or higher. Amara's own match, however, left her speechless. Leo Verma, a 29-year-old artist with a profile picture featuring a mischievous grin and paint-smeared hands, had been assigned to her, with an unprecedented 98% compatibility score. Amara stared at his profile, her initial disbelief giving way to irritation. How could someone so chaotic possibly be her ideal match? She had expected to be paired with someone like herself, logical, organized, and focused, not an artist who described himself as a free spirit and listed spontaneous adventures as his favorite pastime. Their first meeting was, to put it mildly, a disaster. Amara arrived at the cafe 10 minutes early, clutching a notebook filled with questions designed to test their compatibility. Leo, on the other hand, strolled in 15 minutes late, carrying a bouquet of wildflowers he had picked on his way there. The contrast between them couldn't have been starker. Amara was all sharp lines and muted colors, her tailored blazer and neatly tied ponytail, a testament to her no-nonsense personality. Leo was a riot of color and energy, his clothes splattered with paint, and his laughter echoing through the small cafe. "So, you're the genius behind HeartSync," he said, sliding into the seat across from her. "Didn't think I'd end up matched with the boss herself." Amara bristled at his casual tone, but forced herself to remain composed. "I take the integrity of my app very seriously," she replied. "This is purely a professional experiment." Leo raised an eyebrow, clearly amused. "Sure, let's call it that," he said with a grin. Despite their rocky start, Leo convinced her to give the experiment a chance. "If your app says we're a match, shouldn't we at least see where it goes?" he asked, his earnestness catching her off guard. Reluctantly, Amara agreed, setting the stage for a month of unexpected adventures and growing self-discovery. The first few weeks were a roller coaster of emotions. Leo's spontaneity and zest for life clashed with Amara's need for structure at every turn. When he invited her to join him in a community mural project, she initially balked at the idea. Painting in public. It was a nightmare scenario for someone who valued control and precision. Yet, she found herself standing in front of a blank wall, a paintbrush in hand, as Leo encouraged her to let go and just feel the moment. The result was a chaotic mix of sharp, geometric shapes from Amara and bold, sweeping strokes from Leo. To her surprise, the mural began to take on a life of its own, a harmonious blend of their contrasting styles. "See?" Leo said, stepping back to admire their work. "Chaos and order can coexist." Amara couldn't help but smile, even as she muttered something about statistical anomalies. Another challenge arose when Leo suggested a day trip to a nearby town. Amara reluctantly agreed, but only after creating a detailed itinerary complete with estimated travel times and planned stops. Predictably, the trip did not go as planned. The car broke down halfway there, forcing them to hike to a remote cafe Leo had heard about from a friend. As they sat in the cozy, dimly lit space, sipping on the best coffee Amara had ever tasted, she found herself relaxing in a way she hadn't thought possible. Leo's stories about his travels and artistic inspirations were captivating, and she realized that his unpredictability, while frustrating, was also refreshing. Back in her structured world, Amara began to notice subtle changes in herself. Her color-coded calendar now featured blocks of unstructured time labeled Leo Adventures. Her pristine apartment had acquired splashes of color in the form of small paintings Leo had gifted her. Even her approach to work shifted as she started to consider the human element behind her algorithm. Meanwhile, Leo was undergoing his own transformation. Spending time with Amara had introduced him to the beauty of discipline and the satisfaction of achieving long-term goals. Inspired by her dedication, he began working on a series of paintings that he hoped to showcase in a gallery, something he had always dreamed of but never pursued seriously. Despite their growing connection, doubts began to creep in. Amara couldn't shake the feeling that their relationship was an outlier, a rare exception that didn't validate her algorithm. Leo, on the other hand, struggled with the idea that their bond might be a product of the app rather than something real. Their insecurities came to a head during a gala event where Amara presented HeartSync to investors and the public. Leo attended to support her, but an offhand comment about the app's limitations sparked an argument. "You don't believe in what I've built," Amara accused, her voice tinged with frustration. "It's not that," Leo replied, his tone gentle but firm. "I just think love is bigger than an algorithm." The argument left them both shaken, and for a time they drifted apart. Amara buried herself in work, determined to fix the flaws in her system. But as she reviewed the data, she found herself revisiting the moments she had shared with Leo. The laughter, the compromises, the unexpected joy, none of it could be quantified or predicted. Meanwhile, Leo poured his feelings into his art, creating a series of paintings that told the story of their relationship. Each canvas captured a different moment, from their chaotic mural to the serene cafe where they had shared stories and laughter. In a grand gesture that surprised even himself, Leo organized an art exhibit titled The Heart's Algorithm. He invited Amara as the guest of honor, and as she walked through the gallery, she was overwhelmed by the depth of emotion in his work. The final painting depicted a glowing heart surrounded by a mix of geometric and abstract shapes, symbolizing the harmony they had found in their differences. The caption read, "Love isn't coded, it's created." Moved to tears, Amara approached Leo and admitted that her algorithm, while powerful, could never account for the complexity of human connection. "You've taught me that love isn't about perfection," she said. "It's about growth, compromise, and embracing the unexpected." Together, they decided to update HeartSync with a new feature called Chaos Mode, which paired users with someone outside their comfort zone to encourage exploration and growth. As their relationship deepened, Amara and Leo continued to learn from each other. She taught him the value of planning and perseverance, while he showed her the beauty of spontaneity and living in the moment. Their journey was far from perfect, but it was real, and that made all the difference. In the end, they proved that love, like art, was a blend of chaos and order, a masterpiece waiting to be created. The end.